I wanted to talk to you just for a second about Scrum-of-Scrums. Now, Scrum-of-Scrums are a really powerful tool, but man, do I struggle with them. I have had them in lots of different iterations. So to begin with, I didn't have one at all. That didn't work. I then asked, well, maybe we can have people go visit other project teams. Nah, that really didn't work either. So I said, fine, I'm going to do this best practice of Scrum-of-Scrums. And I had a daily Scrum-of-Scrums where we talked about the same questions that we do in the regular Scrum, just like Ken Schwaber says to do in his book. And I've heard all over other people doing, and I've done it at different times. Then people go, this is a complete waste of time, let's scratch the Scrum-of-Scrums. And so we scratch the Scrum-of-Scrums because, I'm not going to force somebody to do something that they think isn't working right. That's not the agile leadership kind of approach. I'm here to serve them and provide them with opportunity. So we scratched it for one sprint, 3 weeks. At the end of that sprint, you know what one of the number one things on the retrospective list was? Not enough cross-team communication. Duh. This is why we do the Scrum-of-Scrums. So I reinstituted the Scrum-of-Scrums, and we are doing it every Tuesday and Thursday. So it's not every day. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we have been traditionally just answering the regular questions that we do from the daily sprint, right? The daily Scrum. What did you do? What are you going to do? And what are your impediments? Now, I'm very, very careful. I don't just ask what did you do, but and what are you going to do, but I specifically look for commitments. I actually go through the commitments from the last Scrum-of-Scrums and say, okay, you committed to these things. Did you accomplish them? Yes and no, and yes and no. And what are you committing to get done by the next Scrum-of-Scrums? Your team committing to get done by the next Scrum-of-Scrums. I think that's really important because it changes your focus from what I'm working on to I'm committing to these deliverables. And Agile is very deliverables focused, so that's what we want to do. We want to focus on those deliverables and getting things done. Now, that being and of course we focus on the impediments in that. That being said, I've talked with some of my lead developers and Scrum Masters, and I'm thinking of changing the Scrum-of-Scrums approach and not asking just the traditional 3 questions because it's not really very interesting. If they were on the same team and working really closely to build one thing that's really tightly integrated, then this would be really an important question. However, we're building an architecture that stretches long. It's not compact, and so their touch points are very small, as opposed to being highly integrated teams. So they really don't need to know what the other team is working on, or has done, or is going to work on. But really, they need to know more about probably more environment issues. They need to know what the blockers are that the team is running into, what the dependencies are that, hey, I need that from you before this next thing happens. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to try it tomorrow at the next Scrum-of-Scrums, and I'll let you know how it turns out. I want to talk with the team and ask them, okay, what kinds of questions do we need to be asking here to make this the most valuable time for you? It's a 15-minute meeting, or it should be, so I want to make that intense and high value. So what can we ask that's going to get to the root of the cross-team communication that needs to happen? And it's going to be impediments, but it's going to be these other things as well. What other things with Scrum-of-Scrums? Daily. Yeah, I've tried emails before. You absolutely need a Scrum-of-Scrums when you're doing a big project like this. It's imperative because you have so much communication, and you will get that, we don't know what they're doing, or this person put something into the environment and it broke my thing, and that actually happened to us that week after we stopped doing Scrum-of-Scrums. It just happened right away. So that's it. I want to explore new opportunities with Scrum-of-Scrums and how to make it the most effective time that my Scrum Masters can spend together, so they can communicate together clearly and remove impediments and have clear cross-team communications. Thanks.